China is building the world's biggest dam, so India is preparing its biggest answer. High in Tibet, Beijing has begun work on a 60 gigawatt mega dam on the Yarlung Sangpo River, the same river that enters Arunachal Pradesh as the Siang and later becomes the Brahmaputra. For India, that's not just a Chinese infrastructure project, it is a strategic challenge because China sits upstream, and whoever sits upstream has influence over the flow of water downstream. That is why India is pushing ahead with the Siang Upper Multipurpose Project in Arunachal Pradesh. At nearly 11,000 megawatts, it could become India's largest hydropower project ever. But here's the key point. This isn't just about generating electricity. The Siang project is designed to act as a giant water buffer. If China alters water flows upstream, India would have a massive storage reservoir to regulate and stabilize the river downstream. If excess water is suddenly released, the reservoir then will help absorb this surge. If water flows become erratic, it could help manage shortages. So in short, China is building a dam, India is building insurance. The story begins thousands of kilometers away from Delhi and Beijing. In Tibet, the river is known as the Yarlung Sangpo. After carving its way through the Himalayas, it enters Arunachal Pradesh as the Siang River. Further downstream, it merges with other rivers to become the Brahmaputra, the lifeline of Assam. Then it flows into Bangladesh, where it joins the Ganga and becomes the mighty Padma before emptying into the Bay of Bengal. Now, this is not just another river. It supports agriculture, fisheries, transportation, biodiversity, livelihoods basically across 3 countries. Millions depend on it. And that is precisely why control over this river has become strategically important. Now, China has officially launched construction of the Motuo Hydropower Station at the Great Bend of the Yarlung Sangpo. Chinese Premier Li Qiang personally attended the groundbreaking ceremony. He called it a project of historic significance. The scale is staggering, an estimated investment of $167 billion, 5 cascading hydropower stations, more than 60 gigawatts of planned generation capacity. Now, to put that into perspective, it is expected to generate almost 3 times the electricity of the Three Gorges Dam, which is currently the world's largest hydropower project. Chinese engineers plan to drill massive tunnels through mountains and redirect enormous volumes of water to maximize power generation. Beijing insists that the project is aimed at clean energy production, economic development in Tibet. But in India, strategic planners are looking beyond this official explanation, because this dam is being built just upstream of Indian territory, barely 50 kilometers from Arunachal, and geography matters. India's concern is not that China will suddenly stop the Brahmaputra tomorrow. The real concern is capability. Once such a massive structure exists, China acquires unprecedented influence over the river system. Experts have long warned that large upstream interventions can alter water flows, sediment movement, ecosystems, flood patterns downstream. For the Northeast, that is crucial. Reduced water availability during lean seasons will affect agriculture, fisheries, and of course the local communities. At the same time, the sudden releases of large volumes of water during extreme weather events could worsen flooding downstream. Now, China has reportedly stated that it has no intention of quote-unquote weaponizing water. But strategic planning is rarely based on words and intentions. And India cannot ignore the reality that a geopolitical rival will soon possess the largest hydropower infrastructure on a river system which is critical to India's northeast. And this is where the Siang Upper Multipurpose Project comes in. India's proposed response is not merely a power project, it is water security project, a flood management project, and increasingly a strategic infrastructure project. The dam or the proposed dam really could generate around 11,000 megawatts of electricity, making it India's largest hydropowered project. But its most important role may not be power generation at all. The project could or would create a large storage reservoir capable of regulating water flows. If excessive water arrives from upstream, the reservoir could help absorb some of the shock. If seasonal flows become erratic, it could help stabilize water availability downstream. So in strategic terms, India is trying to ensure that it is not left vulnerable to developments that happen in China. There is another dimension to the story. Unlike the Indus system between India and Pakistan, there is no comprehensive water sharing agreement that India and China have governing the Brahmaputra. That means infrastructure itself becomes leverage. Both countries are effectively building long-term positions on the same river system. China says it is building for energy, India says it is building for energy, flood control and water security. Both statements can be true, but both projects also carry undeniable strategic implications. This is why many analysts today are increasingly describing the Brahmaputra as the newest arena of India-China competition. Not a battlefield, a water field. The Himalayas are still the front line, but the next chapter of the India-China rivalry may not be written in snow-covered mountains. It may be written in water. This is Times Axis, where global stories meet India's perspective. Click on the bell icon to subscribe because the next big global shift will have India at its center.
If they had a nuclear weapon, you would...
The old rules are breaking. Alliances are shifting.
Apologize again to the victims of the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
Wars are redrawing maps. Oil routes can shake economies overnight. One election in America can impact markets in Mumbai.
No tax on tips.
One move by China can alter the balance in Asia. One conflict in West Asia can hit every Indian household. This is no longer a distant story. This is our story. Your story. Because for the first time in decades, India is not watching from the sidelines. India is rising. India is negotiating. India is balancing rivals. India is building military strength. India is shaping trade routes. India is becoming central to the new global order. And yet, most global news is still told through someone else's lens. Washington's lens, Beijing's lens, London's lens. But where is India's lens? Where is the platform that explains the world from our perspective? Welcome to India's Axis, a new destination for geopolitics, strategy and power seen through India's eyes. From Neighborhood Watch to the biggest global stories that matter to you. Why tensions in the Taiwan Strait matter to India. How one move by China can affect India's security. What turmoil in Pakistan means for regional stability. How Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bhutan shape India's neighborhood. Why oil choke points can hit your wallet. How wars abroad can reshape India's security. This is not noise. This is not shouting. This is not recycled headlines. This is sharp, intelligent storytelling. Daily explainers, war room analysis, strategic conversations. Because news is everywhere, but perspective is rare. And in the age of confusion, clarity is power. Axis is for the audience that wants more than headlines. The axis of global power is shifting. India is at the center of that shift. It's time the world was explained accordingly. To understand the world through India's strategic lens. Subscribe now.